Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend so far. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano. This is going to be a Cardano update video, and as it is the weekend, this is just going to be a nice and chilled out video. We have seen a nice little bump up in the price of ADA. We are going to be looking at that. Many people calling this a breakout. I don't think that's been confirmed necessarily yet. We haven't closed a weekly candle. And it's going to be interesting to see where the daily closes. But we're going to get into it all. Also, maybe issuing a little bit of a word of warning because we have seen similar structure to this. It's a very nice bottoming structure. You've got a nice rounded bottom here. But we have seen this previously for it ultimately to sell off further to the downside. So we'll be talking about that because, you've got to remember markets generally across the board, not just crypto, are very uncertain. There's lots of things going on in the world. And it all plays into Cardano and crypto at large. So we will be talking about the price, obviously looking at the charts. We're going to be talking about the mid-month update that took place yesterday. Cardano IOHK gave a mid-month update where they spoke about a number of things, some of what's being built on top of Cardano, also the parameter updates. And I'm going to play a very short clip where they're essentially talking about the parameter updates, why they're doing this, and it's to accommodate for what's being built. What's being built on top of Cardano is undeniable. There's over 500 projects that are now building on it. Each and every day, we're watching the total value grow continuously. You guys know that I think a stable coin coming to ADA is going to be a huge catalyst for us to start accruing billions in terms of total value locked and really benefiting as a blockchain from it in terms of the Cardano price and its kind of position. Because you've seen many other coins. We've looked at TERRA, we've looked at a number of other smart contract blockchains that all have stable coins, and they've benefited greatly as a result. And certainly the likes of TERRA, which UST, has really dominated and brought a lot of value to the Terra Luna ecosystem. So I'll be getting into all that. Also covering this, I saw this article here. Cardano might be exploring options for burning tokens per latest update from IOG. I don't think many people said, okay, I thought they weren't going to burn tokens, so where has this come from? I don't believe that they're actually on about burning Cardano. I think they're talking about Hydra here. There's been no official word that Cardano may be looking to explore burning ADA. What this, I think, is probably referring to is one of the Hydra heads. We know that Hydra, we did a longer video on it where we covered what Hydra was and why it's going to be so revolutionary. We could potentially have it the Cardano blockchain scale to an infinite number of transactions per second, providing that the sort of groundwork is there with the stake pools and everything. But anyway, I think what they're referring to here is burning on and off the Hydra chain, if that makes sense. So Hydra's a layer 2, somewhat similar to Polygon, but not really. And I think what they're talking about is being able to mint on Hydra and then burn back onto Cardano. I think that's what they're talking about. So we will cover that at the end. But let's get into it, guys. We know what the overall market is doing. Cardano saw a nice little bump up today. We have seen similar structure previously, and it's absolutely worth noting because you can see you've got this lovely rounded bottom here, but ultimately, it's still very early days. We had a similar thing over here, similar thing over here, similar thing over here. We've seen it a number of times throughout this current pullback that we're in, and I do still believe that this is just a pullback, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, Cardano is going to go much higher, in my opinion, over time. Right now, we've got a lot to compete with: geopolitical, macroeconomic, and monetary policy being some of the main ones. So these aren't FOMO markets. So you don't really want to be FOMOing in and out. Really, what you want to be doing, for example, my personal strategy for Cardano is to accumulate continuously over a period of time. It's worked for me so far. I was a big accumulator in the bear market. And ultimately, when I think about my money being sat in a bank, to me, it makes more sense putting it into Cardano. But that's my personal situation, and a number of other cryptos, of course. That's my personal situation. Yours may be different. You may have commitments that you have to fulfill, and you might need money to do that. So you've got to bear all that in mind. But I'm ultimately a net accumulator of ADA, and I do think we are on the road to recovery. For me, it's a matter of when, not if. At this point, we know that we've got a really significant hard fork, the Basel hard fork, coming in June. Essentially, if you look at previous hard forks, there's always been a run up to this. We have whale addresses that have started to accumulate again after dumping in September. There's a lot to suggest that we may be in for a pretty epic run to the upside. Certainly this year, but potentially on the run up to the Basel hard fork. Fundamental, technical, and really a number of other reasons. So let's get into the mid-month update, guys, and then we will move on to the total value locked. And I'll also be reconfirming to you guys that, I think crypto is so early on the journey that it is indeed on. And we can really demonstrate this by looking at Apple. This is the .com boom where I'm hovering my cursor. This, of course, was 2017 for crypto. And you can see they're in very similar positions. But we all know the story of Apple because it was a technology that was really yet to get adopted. This, of course, is Bitcoin, which is a good representative of the crypto space. I think we're in a similar position today, ladies and gentlemen. So let's listen to the mid-month update. And then let's move on to what else we've got lined up for you within this video.
And finally, a reminder of why we're doing this stuff, okay? We're doing it to scale the platform so that it has the bandwidth to contend with the demand that's placed upon it. So we want the Cardano platform to scale in time with the demand that it's seeing. And these changes that we've put in up to this point in the year, and indeed the changes we're going to be making for the rest of the year and even into next year, will allow us to grow out scalability aggressively. And also when we add things like pipelining and layoffs or input endorsers on top, it gives us even more scope to make further changes. So I think I'm feeling quite confident about scaling this out to grow with demand.
And of course, that demand is indeed growing. Make sure you check out some of our recent infographics around all the projects building on Cardano. We've got well over 500 projects now building, all the way from NFT marketplaces to DEX to oracles to liquidity solutions. So make sure you check out the latest and have a look at Essential Cardano, our repo, which tries to map the entire ecosystem. Now, Kevin,
we'll leave that there, guys. We do mention that pretty much on every single video, just what's being built, and it's important because the price action just does not reflect it. And this, of course, is the total value locked. Min swaps, of course, are now the most dominant in terms of total value locked DApp on the Cardano network, which I'm personally happy to see. This has a lot to do with their current yield farming rewards. Sunday Swap had a similar thing. And ultimately, you guys know that we took part in this, not only with this dummy wallet that I have connected for you guys currently, but also with a number of my personal wallets. And we will do a full review of this at the end of the sort of boost period, and then also probably in a month's time to sort of show you the APYs of everything. So the next thing that I really want to move on to is talking about this article here, which spoke about Cardano might be exploring options for token burning per latest update from IOG details. Essentially, they're referencing the status update, which spoke about Hydra. The Hydra team held a planning session and updated the Hydra development roadmap. They created technical documentations and started working on the newest website features using manual and concepts and API references. Finally, they inspected the option of token minting and burning within a Hydra head, along with scenarios of using tokens instead of whatever the hell that says, datums. So this article kind of misleading. I had quite a few people messaging me saying, okay, Cardano now, after coming out very strongly against burning tokens, looking to now burn tokens. That is absolutely not the case. What I think they're referring to, if you notice that Mana has a separate token to Ethereum, maybe something similar for Hydra potentially. So I think they're potentially talking about something along those lines and not actually burning Cardano. But this was certainly an eye-catching article, as that it's been such a huge debate. But yeah, so it was just really to sort of squash that notion that I think Cardano are actually now planning on burning ADA. There's been no official word of that whatsoever. And back to this, this is really what we're on, guys. It's very easy to get disheartened during this kind of choppy price action. If we move it to a weekly, I saw a few people saying that we'd actually broken out here. Potentially, if we take it off a log, you could maybe say that was the case, but we've not actually closed above it. So we really need to see a close before any kind of a significant breakout is confirmed. There is undoubtedly a breakout to come. Trying to time that is easier said than done. Could this be it? Potentially, but it is always worth erring on the side of caution and not FOMOing into these markets, as I don't believe these are FOMOing markets back. From March 2020 onwards, they were markets you could really afford to FOMO into. given everything that's taking place right now, given the fact that we have seen Cardano do this a number of times, only to actually sell off to the downside, you know, you don't want to be FOMOing into these markets just yet. A breakout is coming. It doesn't have to be right now. But that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. It's really just a nice and chilled out one. Things are still moving in the right direction, as you heard from Tim there. You know, 500 plus projects building. It's going to be a really bright future that we are moving towards, certainly one that I'm more excited about. And I think when a lot more of these yield farming opportunities start to present themselves, you're really going to start to gain the attraction and liquidity, more importantly, of a lot of these other blockchains, mainly Ethereum. We also have EVM converters coming out. You name it, guys, we've got it coming. It's a super exciting time to be alive, and it's an even more exciting time to be within the crypto space. So that is really all I have for you in this video, ladies and gents. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Remember, we do have the stake pool. ALLIN is the ticker. ALLIN Crypto, it's my stake pool. It's been a long ambition of mine to be a stake pool operator. We'd love it if you guys delegated with us. Of course, it's up to you. So yeah, that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. If you've enjoyed the content, like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.